Everyone thinks Madonna's next album is going to be a happy, glittery disco party. They are dead wrong. She isn't making a sequel to Confessions on a Dance Floor. She's making a record about death. I watched an interview almost no one in pop music is talking about, and it proves her reunion with Stuart Price isn't about saving pop music. And I've developed a theory. Madonna's next album isn't going to be a party. It's going to be an industrial gospel about her own survival. I'm James, this is Trendy Pop, and today we're decoding the blueprint of Madonna's 2026 comeback. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And if you look closely at Madonna's career, it moves in specific, calculated 20-year cycles. In the early 2000s, Madonna's working with Mervais. They create music. It's weird, electronic, and fractured. Then, in 2003, they push that sound to its limit with American Life. It gets political. It gets angry. She is trying to wake us up with the hard facts about the American dream. But the world wasn't ready for cold, hard truth. We were still deep in the illusion. So what does she do? The tension breaks. She calls Stuart Price, she heads to the disco, and releases Confessions on a Dance Floor. The anger turns to euphoria. The lecture turns into a party, and she saves her career again. Now, look at where we are today. She just finished Madame X, produced by Mervais. Was it political? Yes. Was it sprawling? Absolutely. And now, just like clockwork, she's called Stuart Price again. The cycle is closing. But if you think she's just recreating 2005, you haven't been paying attention. In 2003, we were arguing over truth. In 2026, we're drowning in noise. Feelings have become the only language that cuts through. We don't need Madonna to tell us the world is on fire. We can see the smoke on Twitter. We need her to tell us how to survive the fire. In her conversation with Jay Shetty, she admits her perspective has shifted from fighting the external world to accepting the internal one.
I used to be that way. I used to always want to seek revenge. I spend less time feeling sorry for myself, being a victim, blaming, and more time thinking, okay, why did this happen to me? What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? That is the thesis of Confessions 2. If Madame X was the brain, frantic, political, blaming the enemy, this era is all about the internal enemy. She isn't fighting the patriarchy. She's fighting her own history. I know what you're thinking. James, you're overthinking this. Stuart Price made future nostalgia. He makes glittery, happy pop music. Yes, he does. But Madonna doesn't hire producers to do what they do. She hires them to do what she wants. We remember Confessions as light and fluffy, but if you strip away the ABBA sample, it's one of the darkest records she has ever made. Look at the lyrics to Isaac. Staring up into the heavens in this hell that binds your hands. That's not a party lyric. That is a song about the soul trapped in the body. Look at How High. Nothing lasts forever. Will it matter when I'm gone? In 2005, she used the dance floor to ask the question. In 2026, after the ICU scare, I think she's found the answer. So if it's not happy disco, what is it? She talks about channeling. She says, I'm not the owner of my talent. I'm the manager. I'm the vessel.
My teacher taught me I am not the owner of my talent. I am the manager. I'm a vessel for this light, which in turn, my goal is to share with other people.
In the Confessions era, she was the queen. She was the master. Now she's a conduit. The sound won't be look at me. It'll be look through me. She also talks about buoyancy. But in 2026, buoyancy isn't a balloon. It's a life raft. You don't float away. You grab on to stop yourself from drowning. Okay, let's get to the exclusives, because she gave us titles. One song is called Fragile, and it's about her brother, Christopher. Think about that word. The woman who has spent 40 years wearing armor, fighting battles, is releasing a song called Fragile.
I didn't speak to him for years and years, and it was him being ill and reaching out to me and saying, I need your help. And me having that moment, like, am I going to help my enemy? And I just did. And I felt so relieved holding his hand, even if he was dying, and saying, I love you and I forgive you.
Am I going to help my enemy? She turned that moment, holding her brother's hand while he died, into music. Do not expect sorry. Sorry was, I've heard it all before. Fragile is, I heard you and I forgive you. She even says, I always equated motherhood with death, because the old you must die. This leads to the centerpiece of the album.
It's called Forgive Yourself, but the repeating phrase, the chorus of the song is, if you can't forgive me, forgive yourself.
If you can't forgive me, forgive yourself. She knows people blame her for her face, her boyfriends, her Instagram, and she's saying, fine, but for your own sake, you have to let it go. She calls this global karma.
I am responsible. And I believe in personal accountability, personal karma, and I believe in global karma. A lot of the things that are happening in the world as a result of our selfishness as people, as humans, as a society, we are responsible.
She isn't pointing fingers at politicians anymore. She's pointing at the mirror. So what does that sound like? If she released Future Nostalgia 2, critics would say she's chasing Dua Lipa. And for Madonna, being derivative is a fate worse than death. I think we need to look at Rina Sawayama. That sound was stadium rock mixed with industrial noise. I predict Confessions 2 is industrial gospel. The grinding bass lines of American life, smoothed out by Stuart Price's melodies, a gospel choir singing about personal responsibility over a grinding synthesizer. It acknowledges the world is burning, but it dances around the fire anyway. 2026 is the year of the fire horse. In Chinese astrology, this happens once every 60 years. The fire horse is intense. It destroys the old to make way for the new. Sound like anyone we know? Madonna is a Leo, a creature of fire. She has purged the politics, she has mourned the dead, and now she's ready to gallop into the flames. If you were expecting Hung Up Part 2, prepare to be disappointed. Madonna would rather flop than follow, but she has used a spiritual sound to save her career before. In fact, she wrote the blueprint back in 1998. To understand how she pulls this off, you have to see what she did on Ray of Light. Click the video on your screen right now and let's break down the genius of 1998.